We're going to do something a little bit different. Today, I'm actually going to use a website and see what they're saying about Rochester, New York. Obviously, you have my perspective, but now let's see what other people have to say about Rochester and if I actually agree with them or if they're lying.
All right, so let's look at Reddit blog. This is my first time actually checking this out. I'm super curious what they have to say. This is going to be interesting. 11 pros and cons of living in Rochester, New York. Located in upstate New York, Rochester is a beautiful city to call home. Rochester is known for its rich history, educational opportunities, and vibrant local culture. Okay, so far so good. I can agree with that. 11 of the most prominent pros and cons of living in Rochester. Cool. At a glance, 61 walk score, 60 bike score, 168 median sales price, rent about $1,300. Yep, that's true so far. You can get this at a lower amount, even up to $700, $800 if you can find a decent enough neighborhood. I got a buddy of mine at Alexander Street, pays about $900, everything included. Cool. So pro number one is going to be strong technology and educational job market. Rochester is home to several large employers in technology, research, and education. Companies like Xerox, Kodak, and Bausch Shalom have their roots here. I'm happy they said have their roots here, not say they have job opportunities here, because they don't anymore. The University of Rochester and RIT provide job and innovation, science, and technology, offering opportunities for growth and advancements. Yes, that's the one thing we can agree on. So far, so good. RIT and the University of Rochester are two of Rochester's biggest employers, combining that with Wegmans as well, and also L3Harris, a defense technology company. So a lot of really cool opportunities that exist for those spectrums. Now, we don't have the same diversification of employment as other places do, and that kind of stinks, and I get that. But we do have a strong job market that is specifically facilitated by those locations. So I get that to a degree. Con number two is long and cold winters. While not one of the coldest cities in the United States, Rochester's winters can be tough, with cold temperatures and heavy snowfalls that last for several months. Snowstorms are common, and residents often need to shovel their driveways regularly. While some enjoy winter sports, often others find the long and cold season a challenge. Yeah, I mean, you live in New York, dude. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't think Rochester would be cold. So, like, this is kind of a no-brainer for me. Yes, it's going to be cold in Rochester. Like, we haven't had as much snow as the past. We've had, I think, 3 really bad winter storms that lasted a day or two each. But besides that, nothing crazy. The winters, for better or for worse, have definitely gotten a lot more relaxed. Number 3 is going to be affordable housing markets. One of the major draws of living in Rochester is the affordable housing market. Compared to the cost faced by people living in New York City, home prices and rental costs are much lower. Houses routinely go for well below the national median of $434,000. Apartments range from $1,100 to $1,118. Well, not $1,118 to $1,800 on average. This makes Rochester an attractive option for young professionals, families, and retirees looking to stretch their dollar. Yes and no. This is probably the first one that we're going to have to disagree with. We talk about this a lot, right, guys? We have an affordable housing market, but what we don't have is a housing inventory. Like, if you look anywhere, our inventory level is so historically low that it's crazy. And the homes that are sitting on the market, they're going for $50,000 to $100,000 above asking price, no questions. So, yeah, our home prices are less, but you're going to have to spend like 6 months looking for something. So just be aware of all that. But I'm sure you guys know that already. Con number 4, minimal public transportation. Rochester's public transportation system, primarily buses, may not meet everyone's needs. While the RTS provides bus routes, the city lacks more comprehensive options like subways or light rails. True. Many residents often rely on car for commuting, which can be inconvenient for those without vehicles. I mean, if you're relocating to Rochester and you don't have a car, it is going to be troublesome. Like, I don't know how else to put it besides I would wait to get here until you have a car. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I wouldn't wait for the RTS bus system to be like, oh, great. Sometimes they don't even show up. Like, when I was in I was in 7th grade, I went to a school called U Prep, which was all the way past Dewey on Lake. And I lived in not Gregory Street, but I lived in the apartment complexes on not Monroe, I forget what they were called, Manor Parkway. And I had to take 2 different transits to get to school, and I'd say maybe 5% of the time the buses didn't show up. So yeah, I wouldn't, and most of the clients that do end up moving here and living here, like, you guys know this, and you guys are making, decent amounts, you guys obviously have all those things factored into it. But this is bad. Access to the Finger Lakes. Rochester is known for its proximity to outdoor activities, particularly near the Finger Lakes. In the warmer months, you can enjoy hiking, boating, and wine tasting at one of the area's many vineyards. Ontario Beach Park is another nearby destination for those who love being by the water and soaking up the scenic views. Finger Lakes are about 45 minutes away to an hour, so yeah, they're close. They're not too far. Ontario Beach Park is in Irondequoit, so higher up around the east side, close to the sea breeze kind of area. So yeah, you've got proximity to both these things. They're beautiful, but for about 3 to 4 months. It's February 24th right now. Right now it's like 40 degrees, which is really surprising. But you do have access to this, but just not for that many times. Con number 6, lacking retail options. While Rochester is home to some great local shops and boutiques, it lacks a variety of shopping centers found in larger cities in New York. Those looking for wide options of retail options may need to take the trip to visit friends living in Buffalo or Syracuse. For now, big box stores and malls like Eastview Malls dominate the landscape. Yes and no. We do have, if you're thinking about obviously maybe malls or something like that, Syracuse is the option. You've got Destiny, which is one of the largest malls in the United States. Eastview Mall isn't that big. It's small in comparison to both these places. But yeah, at the same time, about 45 minutes away, you have I forgot what it's called. Someone in the comments put it here. I forget what it's called. But the Thrift Mall, which is, I forgot what it's called, but you've got Brooks Brothers, you've got J. Crew, Banana Republic. You've got a lot of really, really cool things there. And it's a great place to shop. There's food options, a lot of those things. It's about 45 minutes away, closer to Syracuse. Someone put the name in the comments below. Point number 7 is thriving art communities. And by the way, if you guys let me know, do you enjoy this format, like of me just talking very, very openly and bluntly? If you do, let me know so I can do more of these videos. If not, and you want me to just go back to the more professional edits and things like that, let me know as well. I want to see how I can serve you the best. So, thriving art communities. Rochester has a solid art scene with festivals, galleries, and theaters for locals to enjoy. The Rochester International Jazz Festival draws visitors from all over, while the George Eastman Museum provides a deep dive into photography and film history. Venues like the Memorial Art Gallery and the Strong National Museum of Play makes the city appealing for all those who value the arts. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's also relative, right? So like compared to Buffalo and Syracuse, like no, we're not thriving, but we do have options, that's for sure. Again, I talk about the Jazz Festival a lot. I talk about the Lilac Festival, which I guess they didn't talk about here, but big things. A lot of people in Rochester go to those. There is something about the Lilac Festival which now requires ID, I believe. So it's kind of upsetting to a lot of locals that are just like, dude, this is getting out of hand. But we have art, in specific places like if you go on South Ave, so close to like South Wedge, and you just keep going about 2 minutes away from there, you're gonna see like what used to be an auto shop. And right around that location, they now have like an art gathering of sorts. So cool spot just to, obviously, if you're an art enthusiast, there's like a pizza shop and I think there's like a bar like the street over. So you can just go there, have that to drink and then, get some arties going. Rochester, like many other areas in Rochester or in New York, have high property taxes. Homeowners in particular may find these costs burdensome. While the overall cost of living remains lower than many other cities in the state, property taxes can still be a significant factor in deciding to buy a home. 1,000%. We have one of the worst property taxes ever. Now, thank God it's not as bad as New Jersey. It's also New Jersey. Like, what? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. But yeah, we have high property taxes. I think our home, if I'm not mistaken, we live in Henrietta, so our home cost, the last time I checked, it's appraised value, or I can get it appraised for like $275, I believe, and our property taxes are hovering around $6,000. Don't quote me. I could double check, and then we can just go from there. 9 is pro, excellent higher education. Rochester is a hub for higher education. With institutes like the University of Rochester and RIT calling the city home, it's no surprise that Rochester has become one of the top New York college towns. Both universities offer excellent academic programs and are respected nationally. They also drive innovation for fields like optics, engineering, and health sciences, contributing to the city's intellectual flair. Whoa, that can stir up some trouble. To a lot of people, Rochester does not have international or intellectual flair. And by the fact that I can't even pronounce intellectual, they might be right. But we definitely, we've got good schools. The University of Rochester is technically an Ivy school. So for those of you that don't know, Ivy schools are called Ivy schools because they have Ivy, like they're just old. Like they have Ivy growing in them. It's not an Ivy League because it's just really good. It's because it's old. And RIT is really good. I think the last time that I checked, RIT got like 40 million in funding from this guy who was just a really big fan of RIT. So yeah, I mean, both these schools are really, really cool. Quick water break. Number 10 is aging infrastructure. Like many United States cities, Rochester faces issues with aging infrastructure. Roads, bridges, and public buildings are in need for updates, and potholes are a frequent complaint from residents. While efforts to improve infrastructures are ongoing, it's a factor to consider for those relying on smooth commutes. Very true. But also, I want to talk about this for a second. It's very true in Rochester, but it's not very true in the suburban areas of Rochester, right? Pittsford, for example, and Brighton, they've got aging infrastructure, but it's really well maintained. The inner city of Rochester does not. I went to show a house a little while back, and the house was like $70,000. It was for an investor friend of mine. But it needed $100,000 of work, right? So it's stuff like that, and you're like, how is that even possible? They had to destroy everything. Like the house from a foundational perspective was very close to. Never mind. Don't worry about it. The last pro, growing food and beer scene. Rochester has become a hotspot for foodies with a growing restaurant and craft beer scene. Local favorites like the Garbage Plate and a range of farm-to-table options make dining here unique. Breweries like the locally loved Strange Bird are popping up throughout the city, making it a great place for those who like sampling local suds. Yeah, but I mean, like at the same time, I wouldn't say it's growing. Like our Garbage Plates, it's been around for what feels like ever. So I wouldn't say it's growing. I'd say it's stable, more than anything else. If you're thinking about growing, you should be looking at Jefferson Road with all those Nepali restaurants. Let me tell you, on Jefferson Road, there's probably like 8, maybe 9 Nepali restaurants, and all of them claim they're the best. Yeah, for the most part, this list is pretty spot on. I'm not sitting here and saying that this list is bad or anything. I would just say, this right here, affordability. No, not really. Like some of the pretty shitty houses in the city, yeah, for sure. But like, if you're looking at a suburban area and you want something good schools, like you're easily paying $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 above asking price. This is true. Don't move to Rochester without a car. 45 minutes away from the Finger Lakes, about 30 minutes in Ontario, depending on where you're living. You don't really have retail options. The other thing about Rochester too is like, albeit we don't really have retail options, we don't really have that much like food options as well. And then on top of that, what we do have is getting super expensive. Like there's a new Nashville hot chicken that just came out. I think that was like 3-4 months ago, and it's like ridiculously expensive. There's another one. What it wasn't Five Guys. It was something else. Was it Smash Burgers? No, there was something else that just opened up on close to Jefferson as well. And for 2 smoothies and 2 burgers, it's like $50. And for me, like growing up, I didn't pay that. I paid 99 cents for Taco Bell for a 5-layer beefy burrito, and for that same now, it's like $5, which is literally 5x inflation. So we do have some spots, but they're also super expensive. Is it In-N-Out that came? No, it's not In-N-Out. Yes, it's true. Kind of true. So I got for this one, guys. If you found this helpful, let me know. If you found this unhelpful, let me know as well. I want to serve you the best as possible. That's what my team and I do. We We're real estate professionals. We love the opportunity to help you. And listen, I actually did a video on all the new things that are coming to Rochester. I'm going to put that video up there somewhere. Watch it, and I'll see you soon. Bye.